But let's welcome Isaac as he comes up. Welcome, Isaac. Look, tell us a little bit about yourself, history, background, where you grew up and all that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in a country town called Inverell, actually the same town that Nicole grew up in as well. And then after I grew up there, 5 kids in our family, mum and dad, moved to Newcastle for university, studied radiation therapy there, loved it, was part of a great solid church, grew heaps while I was there. And then after Newcastle, I was there for about 7 years. I moved to Sydney for Bible college. So I went to Moore College, and it's been 4 years there, and finally through it now.
4 years hard yakka at Moore College.
Yeah.
How did you become a Christian? At what point do you remember?
For sure. I became a Christian in late high school. How it all happened was when I was about 10 years old, my dad stopped going to church. So suddenly I was sort of given this decision, will I go to church with my mum or stay at home with my dad? And half the kids in our family stayed at home and the other half went to church, and that's who became Christians. So I think for me, growing up as a teenager, I was a bit of a beanbag. I sort of wanted to please my mum and my dad, so I was a bit of a hypocrite. I sort of was in both camps. Went to church on a Friday for youth and then kind of be out with my friends later that night and not really be trusting in Jesus that whole time. And it was really a youth leader and a good friend of mine who challenged me and said, look, that's not what it means to follow Jesus, and actually the only opinion that counts is God's. It doesn't matter what people think of you. And they just told me that, look, I was still under God's wrath, I still would be punished by him, but out of his love, God sent his son, and that I can be forgiven because of what Jesus has done on the cross already, and I don't have to keep pleasing people. And that just changed my life. That was about year 11 at school. And then suddenly I actually knew what it meant to follow Jesus and to live in that grace. So, yeah.
That's great. And you've obviously decided that, look, I want to serve Jesus in a more full-time way. How did that sort of come about? How did that thinking come about?
Yeah, absolutely. It really was a result of being in a solid church that loved to encourage people to serve Jesus. I was given all these opportunities, sometimes more than what I ever could have imagined, and just loved the ministry. I think I was working in a hospital at the time. I was a radiation therapist. So in that role, I saw people who were sick and really struggling in life more than I ever really had in my life before. And I was really challenged by death, really. And yet on a Sunday, I would hear this amazing message that I just wanted to share with these patients throughout the week. And then I realised people just kept saying, look, you can do an apprenticeship, you can try ministry out, you can do what you want to do throughout the week as well, not just on a Sunday, or in your ministries during the week. So yeah, I had a few people who encouraged me to do an apprenticeship, and I loved that. It was really difficult, all kinds of failures along the way there. But that really convicted me of the need to share the gospel, that, I was keen, and there's lots of people that need to hear it. Yeah.
Amen to that. Now, you're commencing here. This is your first day.
Day one, yeah.
So if we come up and say good day or bump elbows or whatever we do nowadays, what do we call you? Do we call you Isaac or what's the...
That is a great question. I will take Isaac, Shuey.
Shuey?
Probably them, yeah. There's all kinds of other nicknames. Yeah,
we'll just keep it to those. Yeah.
Thanks.
You can call him Shuey. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the responsibilities that you're stepping into here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, youth ministry, so leading the leadership there of the youth, mission and membership. So, as you guys are probably aware, church is sort of structured around these M's, these different areas of responsibility. So I'll be thinking about how is our church on mission, how are we engaging people in the area, sharing the gospel, and then membership as well. How are we welcoming people and integrating them into the life of our church here? So all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's great. We're still trying to figure out what M I am. The closest I got to is the missing link. Anyway, what's one thing that you're looking forward to, shall we?
Yeah, there's so much. I think just having a chance to meet the youth leaders was awesome. That was about a month or so ago. And suddenly to just be welcomed by them and see just how they interact, and they're all just really good friends, and I'm just really looking forward to see them continue to grow and serve these youth. And that's just an area that I haven't done for a number of years. So during college, I wasn't doing much youth ministry. So to get stuck into that again, I just can't wait.
That's great. How might we best encourage and support you, do you reckon?
That's a wonderful question. I think just being a Christian brother and sister, I'm just glad to be in a church where I don't have to move on after a couple of years. As a student minister, you kind of join these churches and then in the back of your mind, you know that you're moving on pretty soon. So just being a Christian brother and sister through all the highs and lows of Christian life would be great. Be praying for me, that'd be wonderful. It's going to be a big first year out of college. I'll be praying for you guys as well, so that'd be the best one.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. Look, let's welcome Isaac again as Lee comes and prays.
Thanks.